What's going on, man?
Hey
Can you
bro,
hear me?
hiya. Yeah, I can hear you. How are
Oh,
you,
good,
man?
good, cool. Good, man. Good. How you been?
Yeah, good, good. A bit better, man. Thank you, thank you. So I was just looking
Good.
at the scorecards of because I was gonna talk about Mike at some point throughout this podcast. Man's been killing
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Man's
yeah.
been doing really
Yeah, how's
good.
that?
How's
Yeah, man.
everything
Yeah,
been
go.
going since show? Since with the
Good, man.
rebound?
Yeah, really good. I've been liking it a lot better. Like, this is definitely the best rebound I've ever had.
Hmm.
A big contributor to that is actually, I don't know what it is this year, but I didn't struggle mentally at all. Like, every year after show, I've struggled a lot mentally and been like just very down and very
Yeah.
unmotivated and just wanted to fucking do nothing. And man, I've just felt shit. But I've also come completely off every other rebound except this one. So this is the only
Hmm.
rebound I've actually stayed on after the show. And I think that's helped as well. But it's also been a big help, like the fact that I am just doing this full time now as well, like full time bodybuilding. I'm not having to go back to some shit job that I didn't
Yeah.
like anyway. And that was another reason it was just fucking killing my mental health. Was like, you finish a show that you've been working towards and so focused on, and then it's like straight back to fucking work the next day.
Literally.
Like, yeah,
It's like back to a 9 to 5, same bullshit. It's like that you kind of
yeah,
don't even get that mental break or anything where you're in that like better position now with the online coaching where you can just kind of, like you're saying, relax, enjoy the show, enjoy the aftermath, enjoy the food, and kind of, I guess, put more effort into the rebound instead of kind of just throwing it all about and overindulging because then, you're trying to get back into routine of going to work and stuff like that.
that's right, man. There's just nothing worse than like having to get back into a routine that you didn't enjoy. Like, a lot of the time, especially being younger, like in my last few shows, only being like 21 and 22 and stuff like that, it was harder because you're not financially stable yet. So
Mm,
you are doing what you can, working jobs to make ends meet. And, so you don't like your routine. You don't like
yeah.
that you have to go to these jobs and you don't like the way that your life is set out, but you just have to go straight back to it because you don't get a choice. And now you're doing it with no goal. Like now
Yeah.
you're doing it with no end deadline. So it's like, fuck, it's just shit feeling. But this has by far been the best I've ever felt post show. Like training's been phenomenal and I've been able to eat a lot of food and I haven't blown out.
Yeah. Well, because I
And I
was
haven't,
just, so I keep going.
yeah, I
I
was
was
just gonna say I haven't gone too like strict on my food after the show. Like I kind of just ate what I wanted. Like I didn't really hold back that much. Um, and I sort of held back for the first couple days after the show. Like the night of the show, I had a very sensible dinner. The next day, I didn't really like we went out to breakfast, but I didn't do anything crazy that day. Like
yeah.
I didn't go overboard. And then but I just throughout the whole course of the week ate whenever I felt like it and whatever I kind of was craving. And I was still consuming quite a bit. Like, I went from fucking 1900 calories on prep straight to like 4,000. But I was fine. Like, especially when you have, and I was talking to Luke about it as well. And it's like when you have that bit of extra muscle, you can get away with eating what you want because
And I was
you're
gonna
not
say,
gonna you're not gonna blow up, yeah, when you're that big.
yeah, and I also was gonna say, like, I feel like where most people kind of go wrong anyways, like it's that 24 to 48 hours post show where people just binge and overindulge, where I think that kind of has can cause the most effect in comparison to like what you're saying, how if you just kind of stay still a little bit strict, those 20 48 hours max, and then slowly just keep pumping in more food as each day goes on, you're not gonna kind of blow out as much.
Yeah, that's right. And and really the stuff I was craving, like especially this time, it really wasn't bad stuff. Like I wanted to have like I was just craving a lot of fruit. So
Mm,
I just, smashed a lot of fruit and big like yogurt bowls with fruit and I had a bunch of bagels and shit, but I just didn't eat any rice really. Like
mm,
I didn't really have any carb sources. I just had my proteins and then I would just I spent a couple days not even on any type of meal plan, literally just spending the days like snacking on what I felt like. But
yeah.
they were just like, but it was shit like, I made like bagels with eggs and like,
It's still just things that you enjoy. It's not any
yeah,
like
it's
donuts, cakes, biscuits, and other shit.
yeah,
I
that's
think,
right. So it's just shit like that, and it was very, very easy to that wasn't very high calorie. It just fucks you up because you don't have much protein. That's the only thing that fucks you up. And straight after show, you're not eating meat. You just don't want
no.
it. Like, and you end up eating like fucking 100 grams of protein a day because you're like, oh, I
Yeah,
just need a
yeah,
break
fuck
from
this.
cooking.
Yeah, literally.
And I'm like, I'm so sick of fucking cooking, bro. So, I end up drinking. I'm like, oh, I'll have some oats. I'll put some protein powder in it, and then I'm like, have something later. I'm like, fuck, better have some more protein powder, and that's like the only protein I
You
get
just
in,
like for 2 weeks
just because
straight,
you're
it's
like,
just protein powder every meal.
yeah, it was about a solid week that I probably only ate about maybe 200 grams of protein
Yeah.
max, maybe 50 even, like just to enjoy other foods and stuff. So,
Mm.
but it was, yeah, it's fine. And now I'm like, pretty stable now, like no cravings anymore. Um, and yeah, I haven't blown out at all. I'm still like in very good condition. And,
Well, that's what I was
um,
going to say.
it,
I was looking just to check your Instagram because it must have been on your story, that picture you posted of like you now and then you like last show rebounding, and like the weight difference is like 2 kilos, but you look way better conditioning, a lot tighter, and a little bit more sizes there. So, like
oh, no,
it's
bro,
very obvious.
yeah, no, that photo that I did that with, that was only like that was less than a year ago.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that wasn't it wasn't a rebound. That was just like mid off
Oh,
season.
oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. That means you're like in that perfect position to just skyrocket when
It
you're
was
ready.
actually sorry, it was peak off season.
Damn. And you're
Yeah,
like
yeah. So that
literally the set, like you look the same size, but you're like a lot tighter.
yeah, it was like because that's what I was looking at after I sent my check-ins just this week being.
Mm.
I sent every Tuesday. So last Tuesday I sent my check-ins and I weighed in fasted at 111.5 when the heaviest check-in I'd ever sent to Justin was, last off season, starting with him, and it was 110.5. And that was that photo. So that was the
Yeah,
heaviest check-in I ever sent versus now I'm only 3 weeks post-show and I'm already the heaviest I've ever been.
that's crazy.
Um, in good condition. So I'm
But I
really
think,
keen because food's not high yet.
yeah,
Gear's not high at all. So yeah, I'm really keen.
I think that kind of goes off like something that we'd been saying in early episodes too, is like the importance of doing shows, and how each show you do, you're getting yourself in a better position, you're getting yourself ready to prime. And it's just that evolution of the more shows you do, the more consistency you have in all areas, training, food, when it comes to drugs, and you're just going to progress. That's how you progress. And if you're not progressing, then you're obviously, not either not getting that lean and doing shows, or, you're not training hard enough or not eating enough.
100%, man. That's exactly right. And I was actually having this conversation with one of my clients the other day who's going to be prepping for this season B, and he's pretty switched on as well. But
Mhm.
I was having this conversation with him, and it was like because people think that when they start prep, it's like, okay, off season's over. Now I'm just cutting. And it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, kind of like, yes, our goal is to start tapering towards this goal, but start tapering towards this deadline. But you're not growing. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna be growing until like 6 weeks out, but it's just not going to reflect on the scale because the food's going down, the food's going down. You still have fat reserves, you still have refeed days where we're utilizing, probably training your weaker muscle groups. We have fucking plenty of food and calories still in there really until like fucking 6 weeks out, where yes, the scale weight is going to be going down, but you're still, we're still providing correct nutrient timing as well,
Mm.
where you're going to actually be growing and putting on tissue. You're not going to be getting bigger, obviously, because the food's going down, but you're going to be putting on
The
and
tissue.
accumulating that tissue up until 6 weeks out, 5 weeks out, when it really starts to dig. But
And
before then, you're still growing, you're just not noticing it. And then that's what I feel like again has largely happened with myself. I didn't get much of an off season before I started before it was 20 weeks out, and then we came, started bringing food down, but I kept, obviously the gear was a lot. That was a change with Justin, is that the gear was higher than what I'd
I,
done before. And I
yeah.
think that would really helped me as well, because I just think personally I need that.
Yeah.
To and that then I was still growing until that time, and then now that we're seeing that where it's like, cool, all I do is put a bit of food in to fill out the muscle I
Literally,
have
yeah.
now, already fucking heavier. It's like I clearly put on some good fucking muscle. I just needed that
The
higher
extra
androgen
food.
total.
Yeah. And I think that's really important. And I guess that thing of like, that whole thing, if you're still training really hard in a cut, in a 6 to 8 week cut, you don't want to be getting weaker. If you're getting stronger, still progressing, like you're saying, you're still building that lean tissue anyway. So then, like you're saying, when you fill back up, and that's what's happened with you, your muscles start to pop more, all the tissue that you've accumulated outside of that, like last 6 weeks of prep where you're really digging deep and obviously nothing's going to really build. You're going to see the kind of gains that you've made through that little period.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. So that's what I feel like, has happened. I put on tissue. We trained really hard still all the way up until that mark we start to back off, and we're noticing now that now they've filled up, it's like, cool, we have actually put on tissue through that whole
Yeah.
prep.
Hey,
Sammy, how you
Sam,
going?
can you hear us? Oh, yes, here we go.
There we are. Sammy.
Now I can
Hiya.
hear. Yeah.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
What are we
first
chatting
up,
about?
we're just talking about
Uh,
Jaiden's post show and how he's been going and
yeah.
the kind of the size he's put on and the better condition he's at this point compared to, even peak off season prior to the show.
Nice, nice.
First off, I just want to say I'm excited, and I see that you put out there that you're doing the Romania, the Amateur Olympia. So that's very, very
Yeah.
exciting.
Thank you.
It's honestly been like the best year for Australian bodybuilding. Like it's so good. We have like I think it started
Great.
amateur Olympia last year where we had everyone kind of start to go overseas, and
Yeah.
it's just continued to go from here. And it's like awesome to see, especially with all the pros that have just gone. And I want to talk about Mike. Mike's gone on a rampage over there, top 10 places in all of the shows. Awesome to see.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of just how are you feeling about the prep and that?
Excited and nervous. Like it's yeah, I mean it's a lot to undertake
Yeah.
for sure. But like I look at it and it feels like not much has changed for the first week of dieting, but I guess
Yeah.
that's normal. And then you're looking at it going, oh, I think at 11 weeks out from nationals was a bit leaner than now. Not much, but a bit.
Mhm.
But also, it's only 1 week of dieting, and I've already dropped it down to under 2,000 calories. So, like, it won't be long until we've caught up to maybe the 9 week or 8 week or 7 week mark, and we're on par with what we were. So it's just a matter of just knowing that we know what we're doing and just
tracking in the right direction.
Yeah. So no, it should be good. And look, one thing I like is Europe. I think Europe has a really good reputation, like Australia here. If you want to stand with the top guys, you need conditioning, and I like that. But that doesn't bother me because I mean, size is size. We're all in weight classes, so how much bigger they going to be? If like I stood next to Rygo at nationals, that's probably as big as you're going to get from an under 90. So that's fine. Shape, aesthetics. I think we can hang with anyone as long as we beat them in conditioning. So
but that's even like when you look at you when you even the state shows and that when you go to the overalls and like standing next to Mike and that, like I think that was like I said to you, like that looked pretty close. I would even say you won a couple of shots that maybe they gave to him. Like I don't think size is necessarily you're lacking whatsoever. It's just hitting that conditioning, and it's just depending who's there. And I guess that over time of like you said, the judges said a little bit more chest, a little bit more back or whatever, just those things that come over time. But I don't think size is an issue for you anymore.
No, that's it. Like, I mean, Mike probably outweighed me by 10 kilos.
Yeah. And
did
not look like that.
When you're there on stage, it doesn't look like 10 kilos. Like you can tell he's bigger, but it's not like this overwhelming thing. So no, it should be good fun. It's just an adventure. One of those things where, I'll be fucking stupid not to, Like, well, as soon as Logan said he was going, he sent me the video when his name got read out on that Muscle TV or whatever it was, and so I woke up at 4:30 in the morning or whatever. There's a message from Logan because he woke up at fucking 2 in the morning or something to watch that announcement live. and his name was on the list. So I woke up and I said, "Fuck yes, I'll be there." And
yeah.
he's like, "Really?" Like, "Yeah, all right, let's go." So I was going to be there anyway, and sort of then looked at it, and went, what if you don't have enough money to go on a big overseas trip for another 2 years, 3 years? What if you're not even bodybuilding then? What if injuries happen? What if you just don't feel like it anymore? What if? So you're going to be there. All right. You've definitely got some fat on you, but you're about 12 weeks out if you were to make this decision now.
Yeah.
So I had that weekend away with the kids. Not the weekend, just on the weekend before, and I was just there. We're eating burgers and fucking just had a couple of cocktails, and I just went like, this is a good weekend to sign out. Like I've eaten all my food. I've had some burgers, I've had some pizza, I've had some cocktails. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. So I wrote to Logs first and just said, hey, I don't want to steal any thunder. Like, would you be all right if I prepped alongside you? And he was excited. He was just, fuck yeah, let's go. So, all right, done, sweet, I'm in.
No, that's awesome. I think it's good. Like you and Logan have such a good relationship, and then to be able to then take it to the next level where like you can now prep alongside each other, and because he's been there through your preps, and now you can kind of be there with his prep, but then you're kind of doing it together. I think it's going to like really bring out the best of the both of you, because it's been a while since we've seen Logan on stage since he won his pro card. So it's awesome that like we finally get to see him back up there.
And this is the thing, I think people forget. He is legitimately one of the best we got here. Like he's like, you know what I mean? Like, I know we got Josh Nadowitz, who's tried and proven, and yet all but you're starting to have a conversation about who would be our best pros to go over and have a go. Michael Lucy's proven a lot of people wrong, and he's given himself a fucking good account for overseas. So like all power to him. But like Logan was always in that conversation. People are always like, man, I'd love to see him go over there and just see how he hangs with them. It's like it's one of those physiques we've wanted to see. So now we finally get to do it. And the thing is with this prep, for me, is my whole mind frame is I'm there for him.
Yeah.
Like I'll just let the food do the talking, and I'll just go for my walks and do everything. That's fine. I want him to flick the switch, which there's a few conversations lately. It's starting to go, and then once that goes, we get to see old Logan back. The one that
good.
We've all got to hold back and say, bro, have something to eat, get off the stairmaster, fucking hell. Because once it goes, he'll go. So it's starting to happen. So I just want to be there alongside him, watch him go and do that, and not focus on myself at all. Just I'll just be there. And I think that's like, if I'm relaxed and I'm not worried about me, I think that my body will look its best as well.
That's the thing. It's like environment is everything, like you're saying, if you're there supporting him, you're just going to pick up his energy. You're going to end up bringing your best package anyway, because you're not getting in your head, because you're just completely solely focused on him. So I think it's also going to, like you're saying, benefit you more than you even will realize. And it'll be good. Like I guess look, that was that thing. Like we always wanted to kind of see Logan go overseas, especially when he got his pro card. It was like when he's going to do his show, but he had his kid, he had wanted the downtime, and I think it was good that he's done that, and he's given the opportunity just to let's see what happens and let's see what takes it. Because I'll be honest, I wasn't too sure how Mac was going to go, and so I'm awesome and really ecstatic for how well he's done in each show. I thought it would have been size that kind of. But he's done a top 6 finish, which was awesome. And like, that's the show that Sergio was in and stuff like that. And Ross won the qualification. So like, it's not like he's standing against weak people or lower tier athletes. So, when you compare Mike and you then, I guess like Logan, I don't see Logan, Logan should be finishing top 10 for sure. I don't see.
That's it. Mike's now proved himself in 3 different stages, 3 different sets of judges' eyes, that he's about middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive as a fucking pro, especially open. You know what I mean? Like to go out there and go, well, all right, like say I did the Toronto Pro, there was 7 to 12s in it. You know what I mean? Middle of the pack. Like, it's sort of, but when there's 15 guys And there's those guys like that, Joe Seaman, and they're fucking, like I say, Ross Flanagan, and there's some fucking good physiques in there, you know. To hang middle of the pack with that, like I said, I think he's probably even surprised himself.
Well, that's the
he's
thing.
He's a confident guy, and he loves the sport, but even he's going to sit back when this all sinks in and go, holy shit, I just got 3 top 10s and a top 6. Like,
that's right. It's just like, where am I going to take this? Because that's the thing. I didn't even realize, like, what he just did, the Toronto Pro, he came 9th. Yeah, but that's his 5th show. Like, Jesus Christ. And let alone the fact that he flew straight overseas within a week, did the first pro show, and it's just been one pro show after another every weekend. Like, so it's just like your body's going to get taxed eventually. And to still be placing top 10, even though Toronto's a bit of a smaller show, you still got, like, he's standing on stage next to Ian, or like the guest posing he did with Rami on stage at Pittsburgh. Like, that would have been such a surreal moment.
That was the thing. Me and Logan and a lot of the guys were talking about, like we've stood next to him. We know how big he is. We know he's got a big frame. We know he's 118, give or take. But we're like, what does that look like when it's next to other guys who are 110 but 3 inches shorter? You know, like, what does it look like? How does it hang? You know, so we were really keen to see it. And unless it's that top 10 Olympia, all right, fair call.
Yeah.
You know, the Pittsburgh Pro, it was quite obvious those were all fucking larger men. But that's the top 10. That's the elite. You know, that top 15 Olympia guys, that's a different beast. But anyone who's not in the Olympia, I feel like he matched up really fucking well.
Pretty well.
Size. Yeah.
Very well. No one's really gonna look any big standing next to fucking full blown off season Samson, man. At fucking 100.
You know who
ridiculous.
That guest pose, Derek just looks fucking alien, bro.
And Samson hasn't taken any gear since the Arnold either.
Apparently he's legitimately off.
Yeah. I've heard that.
He comes off. Well, that's what he says. He's like, no, I come off. He's like, and people say to me, like, oh yeah, so you're like on a cruise. He's like, no,
I'm
off, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. He keeps saying it. And so said, like, even his cycles
are super low.
Said even his cycles are like, he goes, you wouldn't, if I told you the numbers, you just straight up think I was lying. He goes, they're not. He's like, there's amateurs running fucking triple what he's doing.
That's that thing that, like, it just, like, shows at the end of the day, the sport is genetic. Like, you can't, like, him, even like you said, Derek Lunsford, like, they're just different animals. Like, it's just.
Well, Samson and Derek, all the rumors are they don't eat. The biggest thing is their coach is going, you got to fucking eat.
Yeah.
Right. These guys apparently don't eat. I'm sure it's still shit tons of food, but not compared to other guys their size. And their drugs are nowhere near compared to other guys their size. Like, they're just born to do it, bro.
Because that was like the most craziest thing.
Last year, Milos had Samson on about 7,000 cows, which, like, that's pretty high, obviously, but, like, fuck, I get up to that. Like, you'd think, dude, that's 150 fucking kilos, that you'd be pushing a bit more than that.
Yeah, and like when he diets as well, he gets low, man. He gets fucking low. He described his breakfast was like 2 eggs or something.
That's fucked. How do you even, like, function?
It's the size of his fucking thumb.
Yeah.
But that's another point I was going to make earlier about going over with Logan and being there for him. I don't think people understand as a coach how much he gives. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of people I know that go to, I'm pulling out a comp. Why? I've run out of money. The amount of fucking people he's coached into the show for free for the last 4, 6, 8 weeks because he's like, you're too close. You can't stop now. We'll sort it out later.
Yeah.
We'll sort it out later. And guess what happens? They walk off stage and they fucking run. You know, the amount of people he's put up on stage for the love of it, because he wants to see good bodybuilders on stage and he doesn't want to end something that he started. To have people there and be there for him and everything he needs, regardless of, I don't care if we're going to be on stage. What do you need? don't stress yourself coming to watch me.
Yeah.
If you feel like you need to be rest up back at the Airbnb for the day, you can watch me on your fucking phone. I'll be fine at the show. You know what I mean? Like it's about time. I think he got up there on the big stage and had a group of people that actually gave a fuck about him for once. So yeah,
I think
I
think
want
it's
to
good.
put that out there. I want a lot more support online as well, even for the IFBB. That they need to get behind him better than what they are, and support obviously one of Australia's best and one of the people that's put more people on stage for the IFBB than fucking almost any other coach.
Literally, I remember 20 or just before COVID, maybe 2018, every athlete that got called out, it was either Logan, Sam, or Dean. Literally, nearly every athlete was coached by those three. The whole show. Like, you got to get behind them, support them.
Yeah, I think it was season B 2019.
Yeah.
I feel like it was. It just felt like everyone was coached by those three.
Literally. You had like one or two people coached by someone else, but it was just like, yep, this is Dean's athlete. This is Logan's athlete. This is Sam's athlete.
Else but Troy Morton.
Yeah.
But you're right though. Since season B just gone, so end of last year, you're right. That was a good season. That there was some good guys and girls in that. But then about fucking 7 girls or something went over to the Olympia and all got like top 3s and top 5s and all sorts of shit. Ever since then, there's been people traveling, like the amount of people over there with Mike now. Like that.
Well, that's the thing. We had six Australian pros, six Australian athletes who went over. So we had
Callum went over, did 2 shows. Looked fucking like we've got Aussies everywhere now. It's pretty fucking cool.
And that's what I was just about to kind of segue into, which is it's so good to see. Like that was being that thing that we've talked about for a while and even just for years. It's like, how are our pros, because we haven't really been overseas, how are they really going to stack up? Because we kind of don't really have any of those shows here. And it was awesome to at least have Mike, like an actual open bodybuilder, and see how he stacked up against everyone. And he proved wrong and proved a lot of people wrong and showed that, look, Australia has just as good athletes. That's like the figure girl, Sarah, she played the women's physique. Sarah, she placed the best, I think, out of everyone. She had 2 6th place finishes. And there's a picture, she's standing next to the women's physique Miss Olympia, does not look outsized at all.
Wow.
And then, you have Callum, who looked amazing and just is like, I reckon, the forefront for Australian classic physique.
I think he's going to go all right, just quietly.
Yeah.
His physique is fucking beautiful. It's fucking wild, isn't it?
His rebound, what was that, Jay?
He was so fucking peeled. I was to say he was so fucking peeled, man.
Yeah. His waist just disappears. Good sweeping quads. His lats from the front. That like
ropey hamstrings, man.
Yeah.
Really ropey hamstrings.
Well, that was maybe a little bit on the arms, maybe because he's quite wide across the clavicle. For the side, for how wide his hips are and his waist is, his shoulders are almost twice as wide. So maybe a bit more on the up, maybe, but it's hard to say until he puts that size on. But either way, he's something else, man.
Well, that was the thing.
I can't believe how fucking competitive that the classic physique, because man, he's fucking unreal. I can't believe it wasn't. I really honestly expected top 6 finish. I really did.
Well, I saw some higher places, but yeah, you're right. When you look at the lineup, he was legitimately beaten, and that just goes to show you how deep those fucking lineups are. So
the size they have on them. Because that's right. But that was the thing. I still think overall, his legs. That was the thing that I was worried about. That may I reckon his quads need to be a little bit bigger just to help that proportion, because his waist is so small and his lats and shoulders are so wide. I think if these were out maybe an inch or 2, it'd just give that better, a Keon proportion type style, because Keon's legs are quite wide. But this is disgusting for a rebound. What is this?
Yeah, he's looking real good at the moment.
Yeah, and it just went to show how big the classic guys really are, because if any of you guys like, I don't know if you hang out with Cal much, like I see him quite a bit, like, treat him and stuff like that. And like, man, he's so big in person.
Mm.
Like when he's so thick in person, see him and I'm like, fucking hell, like he's big for classic, man. And then to even his feedback to be more size and maturity, I was like, fuck, how big are these guys, dude? Like, because like you said, that they were, those top 5 guys were legitimately beating them. Honestly, I can't pick when it's that at that pro level. Like I don't know what's placing. Who's getting what placing for what reason. Like Cal could have been like what he finished 11th or something at Pittsburgh. He could have been 11th or fucking 5th, and I would have been like, yeah, cool. Like I wouldn't have been able to know why.
But at that level, you need to be there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but those top few, like you said, those top few were that like a little bit more mature and they were a little bit more experienced, and that was seen. But it's like I didn't even fucking think they would. Like I still thought he would
be higher,
be right up there. Like I definitely underestimated how good the pros were overseas.
Like you say, they're big, man, because in the gym, when he's in action line, you stand next to him. He's a pretty big dude.
He is. He's huge.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
And that's the thing.
And then to see him just get outsized, you're like, so the other guys at your height are 7 kilos of raw tissue on top of you. It's like, holy fuck, they're big, man.
It's crazy. Like
to be fair, I feel like he sucks in a lot. Like I feel like he really just comes right in. He's very big in the off season. Like I think he's one of those people that has a lot more of a drastic change than others. When it comes to prep and off season, like he jumped on stage at he had a bit of room to go still. So I think if low 90s,
it's 7 kilos.
Yeah, he had 7 kilos. So I think his weight cap's 99. It was like 92, 93. And in the off season, it was 20. So like those are big changes. That's someone who moves a lot. I think that's what surprised me as well, because obviously I forget how much he really sucks down for a show.
But it's that thing also, like when you talk about when you get that big and how much muscle you're actually putting on, but how much of that is actually going to stay when you have to suck down so low. So then you kind of can start to lose that maturity. And that's where like, it's just like, okay, maybe in a year's time, the bit of maturity that he lost sucking down this time, he'll have that next time.
That's right. I don't think you'll ever have to get over 120.
No, he puts on fucking 3 years of maturity every year. Like the rate that he progresses is so much more than anyone else. It's literally like, bro, this is his 3rd ever show. Was the New York Pro?
And he's just sniff off the top 10.
Literally,
shut the fuck up.
It's fucking nuts, isn't it?
That's the thing. Like even Morgan, like she literally just did a Callum. First show, placed this, did well, came first, didn't win a pro card. Second show, won a pro card. What should do the exact same thing?
I was actually pointing it out to them. I was like, not only did you do it the same way, you did it.
Oh shit!
And win the pro card.
Yeah. Fucking great. And same thing. She needs a bit more size for the bikini girls, but for how they live their lifestyle, fuck, give her 12 months, she might be up there fucking sneaking top 10s,
Yeah,
like
I'd say so.
I see them being like, they are like, quite frankly, the Australian like power couple, like bodybuilding couple. Like they're gonna. I see them both being at the Olympia one day. Like they just have that mentality, they have that drive, they have that physique.
Callum's just a matter of when.
Yeah, I think genuinely both of them will end up at the Olympia.
They're our best shots at the moment. Besides, Aaron Bellide's coming back and doing what he does. He's a good shot to go, obviously, but his life is hectic at the moment.
Man, never slows down.
He's fucking, man, I don't even know if he sleeps.
Literally.
Callum's going to take a couple of years, but with his dimensions, he may not even have to max his cap to win a show.
No.
Yeah.
You know,
there's no way he needs another 7 kilos to win. 7 kilos on top of that, you might as well throw him in the fucking opens.
Because that's like, but that's the thing. Like, they're so big, and that's the debate of like at the pro level like that. Do they really need to have a classic physique? It's just like, let's see Chris Bumstead in an open lineup. Like, he's that big, that proportioned, that conditioned. It's just like,
he is very big. But have you seen that photo standing next to Rami?
Yeah, but Rami's a big boy. Rami's a
well,
big.
you know what I mean? That's what you got to compare yourself. You've got to see what you stand like. And the thing is say like, okay, put him next to Derek. Put him next to like, Chris Bumstead's a big motherfucker. Like, if he was to walk through our gym, we wouldn't know what the hell we're looking at. But against those, again, that top 15, and like that Olympia caliber open guy is a different animal, man. They're fucking Sasquatches.
I think when you put it in that retrospect, like I just saw a video and it was like him and Seth training with Hani, and like Seth is like best physique that Seth's ever had, but like Seth was 212. Like, you can see what's his name? Chris Bumstead's like not being too over angled, where like, I get what you mean, go bumping into that opened. Yeah, he's when you stand him next to Derek, like he did a training video with Derek looks like he was eating him, where then I guess something more like Keon going into 212.
Yeah, when it's like that, man, it's just like if you actually look at Chris, like you measure his fucking bicep, right? It's not really going to be much smaller than most of those guys. Like, he has big arms, he's got big quads. Like, it's not so much of a single muscle group kind of thing. It's just an overall thickness that they don't possess. Like,
it's just the mass.
Because you can't, it's just an overall mass, like fucking big necks and just like all of that
monsters.
Like, you're not getting it. You're just not getting in the classic physique like from Chris. They just don't have that look. And you'd only notice it in person because photos are 2D, right? Like if you see Chris hit a front double and this is going to be 15 kilos fucking heavier than him, but like in person you would see them like Halusi would be much thicker.
And I guess it's that structure thing.
Yeah. Like it's just a overall mass and thickness that the classic guys steer away from. That's why you notice like a lot of the guys, it's like from the back are quite skinny. Like they just not, back isn't just protruding outwards. It's very nice detail, but they're not so thick like chest to back wise. That's mostly what it is. It's literally just like growth hormone.
You were saying before thick necks. You see the latest post Nick Walker put up with fucking Milos Sarcev next to? You want to talk about thick fucking necks? Holy shit.
I thought the stain was the first thing I saw when I looked at it,
It's like this. Fuck, dude, the dude is a tree stump, man.
Literally.
Yeah, he just sits on his fucking
He's full. I honestly think we've seen the best of Nick Walker already.
Yeah.
I can't see. I think Hadi Chupana would be interested to see how long he competes for. Who knows? His body's still good. But Derek, I think Samson's going to leapfrog a whole heap. Andrew Jack's going to leapfrog a whole heap. Nick, I just don't know where his physique could go from here. That kind of is full blown, man.
I listen quite a lot to podcasts and stuff like that, and these guys chatting. From what I've heard, Nick's actually said, like in a podcast that came out only like last month, he said like he's not really trying to pack on any muscle anymore because he's like, I'm just going to look fucking stupid. He said he's like, I'm just working on trying to become more aesthetic. So that's basically what he's trying to do, and that will be the only real like improvements he can make, or like how to actually jump up places.
But that's the thing. He's like, it's kind of like Branch. Like, I don't think no matter what Branch did, Branch was never going to win an Olympian. Like, when you have people like Samson that already has that mass, where like Nick's and has the aesthetic. So, Nick wants to become aesthetic, but the mass just will not compare to what Samson or Derek are going to do. Even Hadi, like even some of Hadi's like little things that we've seen, he's looking bigger than he was last year already. So like,
I mean, the thing is like Nick again, like Branch and that. they're that fucking good. They're never going to be out of the top 6.
Mm.
Like, it doesn't matter who turns up, and they can turn up off. They're freaks. They're that good. But like you say, as far as winning the Olympia, no, I can't see it. Can't see it winning. But he's forever going to make a shit ton of money and be popular as hell because he is a fucking mutant, man.
That's the thing. Like, I guess from an athlete's point of view, like, do you chase a legacy? Like, do you chase let me go? Because he can win Arnold's. So it's just like, do I just go and get 50 Arnold wins? And like, I was always seen placing, top 5 in the Olympia for every show I did it for. But, look, I got like 15 Arnold wins, 10 Arnold wins. You know what I mean? Like, where do you kind of, I guess, because I guess the way I want to word is like, when what I was going to say to you, Jaiden, before Sam jumped in, this time around, it sounds like you're really in that, and it helps, now that you're coaching and stuff like that, but you're really in that athlete mindset. You're really like locked in now. And, you say you're feeling a lot better and, you weren't worried about binging or anything like that. And you're ready just to kind of get straight back in. I know Sam's always had that mindset. So having that, where do you draw that line of going, do I just keep trying to win that Olympia title because that's what you want, that's what we all want to achieve, or do I go, let me go for a legacy, let me go for more wins? Because I feel like that's what Dexter did. Dexter went, okay, I'm just going to see how many shows I can win.
Dexter also won an Olympia.
That is true.
He had his time, but Nick is the hungriest motherfucker anyone will meet. Like no one's like him, bro. Like no one's as fucking diligent and as fired up as that guy. He is so like, he wants it so bad. He will never stop until he can't. He will try and get an Olympia win, a title. He will go for a Sando like until he can't anymore. Yeah. He will always believe.
Like say what's his fucking name? You said him before, the 212 guy.
I said.
No, the black, the one where you keep waiting to get conditioned, but he keeps
Keon.
Keon.
Yeah.
Say all of a sudden he nails it.
Yeah.
And he becomes Mr. Olympia. And if I was in 212 at that point and I was getting top 5s and stuff, whatever, and he was the current champion, like when Ronnie was, I'd just be doing exactly what you said. I'd just be like, I'm going in every fucking Olympia, bro. Oh, you fuck. Every Arnold. I'm gonna try and win every other title and just keep trying to get those top 6s and that of like, so depending on who's winning at the moment, we've got no dominant force. So at the moment Nick his enthusiasm would be alive and well, but say an Andrew Jack or a Samson or a Derek, somebody nails it, takes the belt and repeats and repeat. You'd look at it and go, okay, this motherfucker's got this for the next 4, 5, 6. Do exactly what you said. Let's just try and just win shit. Let's just try and take small titles galore.
And that's interesting that you say that, because I've read something on buys and tries, and it was like, who was it, Steve Weinberg, and like he literally just shat on Big Ramy. He was literally like basically saying you should retire, like, or like at least take a year off. And a lot of people, I was reading the comments are saying like, man's like needs to retire, or like he's never going to win an Olympia again. He's probably not going to place top 5. And it just goes back on that thing of like, we really haven't, like a lot of people saying the only reason Ramy won is because there was no competitive lineup. We haven't had a competitive lineup until the year that just passed. Since after Sean won and then got ejected and then unfortunately passed away, like it's just been who's showing up, who's going to win. Even like Brandon, like he won one year. You could argue that it wasn't as like, I guess, competitive or compared to the year before when Phil had his reign and Sean like took it from him.
Yeah. No, I have a weird, like, I don't know, I have a different take on all that, because everyone says like, oh, you just need to, like, you're done, you need to quit, you need to retire, like quit while you're ahead, you've done well, just quit now. But man, I'm like, fuck, why not? He could even know that. Like, I'm pretty sure he's in the spot where he's like, no, I can come back. I'm doing some stuff. I can come back and be better. But if he wasn't, he might be in a fucking mindset where he's like, I just like fucking competing. I want to keep competing. Same as Dexter, man. Dexter competed to 2020? He won in fucking 2008 and never won again. but he just wanted to keep competing because he fucking liked it. Like,
Yeah.
man, I would just go until I don't want to anymore. Like, fuck quitting while you're ahead just because you're not winning anymore. That's such a bitch mindset. Like, oh, I'm losing now. I'll
At
stop.
the end of the day, he's still a top 10 bodybuilder on any stage in the world.
Mm.
Like, you're a
Still
fucking freak.
literally
Like,
one of the funniest cunts alive. Yeah.
like, you know, the only shows he's not in the top 2 in is the Olympia.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? He's top 2 or 3 in fucking every other show on earth. So I mean, yeah, I mean, for Weinberg to come out and say that, I'm not a fan. I think I'm the same as you. I say go for it as long as, okay, say you won the Olympia once and now you can't even get a top 10 at the Olympia. Okay. For anybody else in the world to get 14th or whatever at the Olympia is, you'd lose your shit, ecstatic. But for somebody who won it once, all right, you're on your way out now, son. You know, that's fine. But if you're still getting a 5th and then a 6th and then a 4th and then you're in the mix.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, shit. Like you say, you're not going to win again, but you're a fucking very good bodybuilder.
And I guess where that's that mentality of, I guess, people who, I guess, watch the sport or like the sport but don't compete, and it's like there's that difference between, like you're saying, Jaiden, there's just the love for competing, the love for just dieting down, being the better version of yourself each time, progressing. And you know, like you're saying, for someone like Big Ramy, he just may enjoy, like Dexter, like you said, Dexter, perfect example. He just enjoyed competing. He didn't care that he never won an Olympia again. I'm sure he would have loved to, but he just enjoyed getting on stage, progressing, and seeing how well he could go from one generation to another and still kick ass and be amazing. So I guess
right.
It's that mindset, having the right mindset.
Paid too.
Yeah, they get fucking paid. Like, if he retires, what's the first thing that's going to happen is fucking sponsors are dropping him probably. Like, they're probably not going to fucking sponsor him anymore, or they're going to pull his contract down. They're not going to still pay him a lot of fucking money to not do any shows anymore and just be a public figure. And it's just not worth it for them anymore. They're better off going sponsoring someone else. They offered him, like, he's with some weird company, I don't know who, but they offered him the most money out of anyone. Yeah. So of course he's going to keep fucking competing. Like, it's his means of income, and he obviously enjoys it. Like, people that fucking say like, oh, you quit because you're losing now. It's like, they're the people that, you know, you really never fucking did this because you liked it, or you don't do it at all, and you don't really get what it's like to be passionate about something and actually just fucking do it for the love of it. Like,
and we all lose a lot more.
Like, talk about leaving a legacy, man. Do fucking 20 Olympias. Tell me you're not going to leave a legacy doing that.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Ramy's done like, he would have been in a dozen.
He was there since I think 2013, 24. I remember he definitely, I think 2014, he was there. I think maybe a year or two before.
Probably done 10 to 12 Olympias. Fucking, and he won 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's that semantics of like trying to just argue a stupid point. Like, I think sometimes bodybuilders get too wound up on a trophy, too wound up on or this, be the best of this, but it's just like, what's the real reason of doing it? Like you're saying, you know, we're athletes, we enjoy the sport, we love progressing. That's everything else is a reward, a bonus.
Those guys get weeded out in the amateur ranks. Those guys they're doing it for a pro card or doing it for a trophy. They get weeded out in the amateur ranks when they can't even beat us.
Yeah.
And they go home looking that the judging was off and that. It's like, no. You're not as good as what you thought. And they're the ones that keyboard warrior that people like Ramy should retire. It's like you can't even fucking get a first call out in state show, man. Like, just leave the fucking poor bugger alone. He's
literally
one of the biggest freaks on earth. Like you say, he's probably getting $1 million a year from fucking supplement sponsors. And he loves doing it. And the whole reason we've all heard of Ramy is because of bodybuilding. So why would you want to give up the one thing that made you who you are?
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, you're right. People do it for the trophy, but they get weeded out. They get weeded out when they can't even win a state show. So, you know what I mean?
Exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. Exactly what I was about to say.
We all lose. We've lost. We're going to lose 100 times more than we ever fucking win anything in this sport.
Yeah.
It's hard to get up there and be the final man standing on a day, that's for sure, especially for fucking pros.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, you see it in the amateur ranks as well. People like, I want to win, I want to win. And, I mean, Louis said it, I think it might have been on this fucking podcast, one of the early ones, where he was like, look, there's fucking how many competitors up there that day. You have over 100 competitors. There's only a few winners. There's fucking chances are you're not going to be one of them,
Yeah.
right?
Literally.
If you're doing this for the fucking trophy, I say to my clients straight up, I fucking hate it, man. When my clients message me, or if I'm got guys on prep, they're like, "Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be good enough." I'm like, "Good enough for what?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like do well." I'm like, "You're not." Well,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not good enough to win. You're not going to win. I'm like, if you want to go do this to win, then you're going to be disappointed because no, you're not
Yeah.
going to win because guess what? Then you would be a pro. And do you think you're ready to be a pro? No, you're not. There is someone there who is a pro because someone is turning pro. So there is someone there. You are versing a pro somewhere in that lineup.
That's right.
You are not. You are not that person. I said, but if you're doing this to become a better version of yourself, gain experience, become a better bodybuilder on all levels, learn a fuck ton about one, your physique, and two, how to be a better bodybuilder, apply that, set yourself up for a fucking good off season, want to stick to this, then it's a fucking great reason to do the show and you are definitely ready to compete. But again, that was a perfect example just before. Rami was in the fucking Olympia in 2013 or whatever. He was a fucking nobody for how long before he actually got recognized. I didn't know who he was till he won. I didn't know who he was at all until he started winning. And it takes that fucking long. So what makes you think you're going to come out as an amateur and fucking get a trophy straight away anyway?
No, that's it.
You're
I
not.
got shown a photo of Rami back when I still lived in Adelaide, so probably around 2010. Yeah, a mate of mine, he's like, oh, calling me Rami because my name was Sammy.
Yeah.
And I was bodybuilding sort of back then. Obviously, I wasn't bigger, but not many people did it in Adelaide, So, and he was like, oh, calling me Rami. He's like, oh, haven't you seen him? I'm like, nah. And he showed me, and there's this guy with these fucking quads, and he was showing me a big Rami, yeah. And then he turned pro, or maybe he was just pro then, not sure. But yeah, then eventually now he is who he is now. Like,
that's the thing.
Sport's
always going to be a marathon.
These guys, I mean, Nick Walker was getting called all sorts of fucking names as an amateur, all sorts of shit, like there were magazines talking about him before he was anybody because he was running his mouth and he didn't have a very good physique back then. Everybody was trash talking him and he wasn't winning shows, but he just kept coming back, I didn't win nothing. I didn't win nothing until last year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. On the fucking podcast I was listening to with Nick, they asked him like, oh, when did you know you're a really freaky or like maybe a hyper responder like people call you? He's like, when did it sort of click for you that you were like that? He's like, I did my first cycle. I took a mill of test and I didn't put on any water and I went up 30 pounds. And I was like, right, yeah. Makes sense.
Instead, everybody get into like that.
Oh fuck! I wish that happened for fucking me. It would be good.
That's ridiculous.
I'll be fucking.
No, that's right, Sam. You're one of the biggest names in Australian amateur bodybuilding at the moment, and you didn't, like you said, you didn't start winning till last year.
Last year was literally the first win, man. So 2017, 2018, 2019 season A, 2019 season B. I had a second and a third in those 4 seasons. And then Rona hit 2020, wasn't it? So then we came back and then I won last year and then this year. So in what those 4 seasons, I did maybe 6, 7 shows for a second and a third. And the second was in my first ever show. And then I was bombing out getting 4ths and 5ths and fucking I got the 6th in season B nationals 2019. Barely I just got called up for the first call out. They called the first call out and then they got everyone in the front relaxed and then and whatever number I was and brought me out at the end. I'm like, fucking hell, I didn't even make first call out. That was a wake up call to take dieting serious and get in shape, So for people like, there were people that did state show and didn't place obviously they had high hopes of where they should have placed. So I'm not going to do nationals because I'm not going to win. Most of us probably aren't. Like exactly what you said and what Lewis said. Most of us aren't going to win.
Does that
mean just
thing.
no one turns up except for one cunt? And then what? They win by default? Oh, they only won because no one turned up. Yeah, because you fucking bitches didn't turn up because you were convinced you weren't going to win anyway.
It's weird. You
and
have
then
to
you hate on the poor cunt who turns up and wins by default.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, bro. Like, you know, fucking, I'm the same even as well. Like, man, I didn't even make first call out at this nationals, and it was by far my best look. Like,
it was. You were fucking good.
I blew last year's look out of the water, and I was still probably a little bit flat, but man, I still couldn't even make first call out. And people think that they're going to come out as an amateur and do well. And even so, they might be doing, like novice classic or something like that. I'm like, yeah, all the dudes doing open classic are usually doing fucking novice classic as well, man. Like, just because it's novice doesn't mean it fucking shit, because you're still going to be versing 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a bunch of guys who haven't won yet.
Yeah, and guess what? Now there's
no
fucking weight categories.
Bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're going to stand it. You only want to compete when you're ready to win, but you want to nominate yourself for novice. Well, that's a whole bunch of fucking dudes who have done a handful of shows who haven't won yet, but they're fucking good. They're getting good. So you sure you want to stand next to them because they're not bad bodybuilders. They just haven't won yet.
Look at the fucking winners of novice, bro. Like, you had fucking back in 2020 when I competed, it was fucking Louis. Like,
literally
novice. Yeah.
Cam won a novice.
And then Cam, and then fucking Jerome this year.
Yeah, that's it. So don't think they're bad because they're called novice. They're heavy. Fucking good bodybuilders.
Yeah, Jerome's big.
He's huge.
Yeah, they just haven't won. And again, when there's fucking like I don't know how many were in the under 90s. There was either 12 or 14 of us.
That was stacked.
11 or 13 guys who didn't win.
Yeah.
Are they shit?
No.
Man. I had yeah, that's the thing. Like, we had what I think 13 or 14 in the heavies. And like
big.
That's exactly right, man. I'm sitting at fucking 7th currently after that lineup. Like, fuck me, man. It takes a long fucking time now, even to be good as an amateur.
And I think people...
obviously.
Go on.
Yeah, it goes.
I was just saying, I think it's fine for the competitors. I think all of us who have been around who have done more than 2 or 3 shows, I think everyone gets it, and everyone's very supportive of one another. And people who just want to have a go at doing one, we're very supportive. Hey, come and join in. The water's warm. Pay your rego fees. Let's build IFBB up. Let's all do it. Just come in condition, and we'll support you. Like, I think it's people who've been around are good. It's the Instagrammers, man.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. It's those people.
They're the ones that are just ratting on people and talking shit. It's like, whoa. You haven't even done a prep, man. You're talking smack on someone. Like, how do you know what happened during their prep? Maybe they're in the shape of their life. Oh, someone's ringing me. No, I'll let that fucking go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Maybe they're in the shape of their life and they got the fucking flu in peak week.
Literally.
Yeah. That's the other thing. I see it a lot because, a large amount of my clientele base comes to me from TikTok. So I see a lot of what's going on TikTok. And the thing that's skewing people's perception of it is on TikTok, there's a lot of young guys, 18 to 22 that are just getting into the industry. They want to take up bodybuilding and they're doing it and they're winning all these shows in America in the novice divisions at the regional shows. In the US, you have multiple regionals every weekend. You have a regional in fucking California, you have a regional in Texas, a regional in Florida, every fucking weekend. So if you've ever gone on, I don't know if any of you have ever gone on NPC News Online on the actual website and looked up results from shows, they're fucking appalling. Like, the actual level of the regional winners, like the people who are winning these regional shows, are atrocious. They're not in condition at all. Obviously, not including the other ones not including the ones that actually are then doing that to place high at nationals. But because they actually need to qualify for nationals over there, you need to place in a regional or something like that. And
Yeah.
fucking the level of competition is so bad. And you have these people that come on TikTok, these young guys, and they're like, did my first bodybuilding show and won. And they're like, and they hold up this fucking medal and they post their stage shots and they don't have a single fucking line in their glutes or their hamstrings. They look like they're fucking
They barely got a line in the quads.
Yes, that's right. And we don't have that level of competition in Australia. We have fucking conditioning in Australia. And that's what my guys over here then don't realize, because they'll come to me from TikTok and they'll want to prep and they'll expect the same kind of thing. They're like, yeah, I'm going to do novice and stuff. It's like, that's fine, man, but it's fucking hard. It's a lot harder here. You have all these people that want it so bad, and we have 2 fucking chances a year. They're going to be stacked, bro. It's not like the US. They're only getting 5 people in a fucking class. You know what I mean? If there are hundreds of people at this show, these are fucking massive. Like,
and they're getting bigger and bigger.
Yes, it's getting better and better every fucking year. Like, there's like Ross, team pro coach. He said, man, this is fucking insane over here. He's like, he literally said to me, Louis and Luke, he's like, you guys need to come to Europe and you're like very good chance of turning pro. And then even Justin said to, like, Compton said to me as well, he's like, the fucking guys you have in Australia is ridiculous. He's like, I couldn't believe you even placed where you did. He's like, over here in the like the national shows over here, you'd be at least a top 5 guy. And that just goes to show that, like, and I again looked at the photos from their national shows, and they're not that conditioned. They have a lot more size most of the time, but they're not that conditioned. Like, it's very fucking different over here. We take conditioning to a whole new level, and that's, people just aren't realizing that Australia is very different from this social media world where people are winning all these fucking medals and, you know, great, but that's just not going to fucking happen over here, plain and simple. Unless you're in WA, maybe.
There's pretty good quality here, man. Like you say, when Ross and you said Justin and that, and there's a few others I've heard it from as well. They're like, holy shit, it is a bit better than what I thought it was going to be down there.
That's the thing. Like, all these people in Europe and America, they're so used to that, like you said, multiple shows every weekend, heaps of athletes, people not getting conditioned, and, like, you know, they forget we're across the world and we have 2 opportunities. So our pool is like as if they're doing a national show. So, like, it's just fucked over here. And that's why it's good that we're getting people like Ross and even, like you're saying, Justin, who are seeing, like, look at the competition that we have here. Like, you know, if we were able to fund and have the funds to do what we could do in America and Europe, like, we would have plenty of more pros. We would have, I think, a lot more shows, a lot of more athletes going overseas. But it's just that thing where we're so segregated.
We proved it as well. Like you say, there was like 7 girls went over for that Olympia last year and all got like top 3s.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking crazy.
We had 2 go into the overalls.
Classes left, right, and fucking center. Like, it was absolutely nuts. So we know that the girls here are good caliber, and the guys, okay, like you say, it's a size thing. We'll find out. We're starting to get more guys go over. We're going to get a look to see how I match up over there in the under 90s against other under 90s.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get some more guys over. And I think the same thing. They're going to be like, holy shit, you Aussies, you just know how to get in shape, don't you? And that conditioning kills, man.
Yeah.
Conditioning fucking kills. It does. Like you say, Callum, at being 7 kgs under the weight cap, was probably the smallest there. Fair comment.
Yeah.
And he was middle of the pack.
Yeah.
But he was the most conditioned.
But and middle of the pack because of conditioning. Yeah. Because, you know, so conditioning kills, man. You can technically be the smallest on the stage, but you ain't getting last. Nowhere near it. You'll never be last if you're the most conditioned, even if you are the smallest.
And this reminds me, like, how much I think amateurs blur that line between, like, being, you still need the size. You know, condition always matters at an amateur level. you still need the size. Like, if it's your first show, your second show, you need to go in with the mentality. I'm probably going to lose, but if I bring the conditioning, I bring what I need to bring, I'm going to show the judges. So each time I come back, they're going to be like, fuck, he was in condition last year. He's in condition this year. He's getting more size. Okay, this is good. We can see the progress. And then, like you're saying, when then we think about someone like Calvin, he is the size. So the conditioning is like what carried him. So it's just filling in that 7 kilos. I think amateurs are looking at pros and being like, oh yeah, Callum's doing really well, middle of the pack, he was conditioned, so I'm going to be conditioned, I'm going to win. It's like, no, dude, it's like your first show, it's your second show, you still need another 10
you
kilos.
still need size.
Yeah.
But you will climb spots. If you're smaller and chubby, I tell you what, you're not going to place as high as if you're small and shredded.
Yeah.
Right. I was just having this conversation the other day with Scotty at Riggs, man, because fucking again, I was having this conversation about amateurs and some of my guys being worried about not being big enough. And I'm like, again, it's the same thing. I was like, big enough for what?
Yeah.
Like to win? No, you're not going to be big enough to win, but you're going to be in condition. I'm going to get you fucking peeled and you are going to look the best you've ever fucking looked. And then I said to Scotty, I said, like, Scotty's 5'1", 5'2". He's fucking tiny. He can. There wasn't even a weight class for him back in the day. He did under 65s. Like he was fucking little. And I said, did you ever come last? And he said no, because I was always peeled out of my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, exactly. This cunt weighed 65 fucking kilos on stage. I remember because he was telling me he purposefully sucked down to try and get under 65, and then they decided last minute to cancel the under 65 and just do all under 70s. And he was like, what the fuck, man? Because he sucked right down to get to that. Yeah. But
he would have been built.
But yeah. And I was like, man, but you never got last, did you? Because you've always been peeled. He's like, no, I've never got last. And he did not, like, he's not a shape guy either. He does not have a good structure. He does now that he's built himself up, but back then, no. He was peeled though.
Yeah. Another perfect example of that is you're one of your clients, Nathan, man. Like, you got him peeled and he placed second at States.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was just the fucked up tan that hurt us a little bit at Nationals, because I told him to keep, which I'll take the blame for, because I told him to keep it on, because I kept mine on and mine didn't fade, but his went patchy as fuck. And then they had to go over it and he started to look like green, and it was this really weird matted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like mud. Yeah. So and it just like washed him out bad. Which was unfortunate. But man, that's right. I said, like, bro, you're definitely gonna be the most peeled junior. I was like, you're gonna be more peeled than most of the fucking open guys too. So I said, and they're gonna respect that. And man, he's just got crazy skin, man. Like, he's got skin of a fucking 50-year-old. It's I was like, man, how much time you spent in the sun? You got no fucking collagen at all. Like, I was like, you're fucking, it's great. But yeah, but he came in fucking peeled, and that's right, man. Like, he was because he's 6'3", he's gonna take a long time to fill out his frame. And yeah, he was undersized to what he needs to be well, but he could not play slow because he was just so fucking peeled.
Like, I think if Blade was not bigger in certain areas, like you're saying, that's only because Nathan is 6'3". If, like, let's say Blade wasn't there, Nathan would have been first. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that thing, because he was so peeled and he does have shape.
I still think Nathan should have won States, in my opinion, purely because he wasn't, like, he was definitely bigger than him, but I don't think he was big enough to offset the difference in conditioning. Like, it was night and day conditioning. Yeah. Like I think Blade was a little soft. I think he was, like, just through the rear. I think his glutes and hams were a little soft, but he definitely had some size. He had some nice shape too, which I think helped him. But I still think overall, overall, because Nathan's conditioning was so good, it probably should have carried him. But hey, like, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, it's bodybuilding, isn't it? But again, at least if you're conditioned, you're always in a conversation. I mean, how many people have we seen that get, I don't know, anything, 7th, 8th, 9th, but they're just peeled? And in the crowd, we'll all be sitting there going, like, this, we could be looking at the second call out. And you'd be like, holy fuck, number 43 is fucking in shape. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. And everybody would be like,
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the cunt. For him to just walk off stage, not get a trophy, not get a medal, barely be remembered, there's a whole bunch of people who do understand the sport and who are legitimate fans talking about you.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I mean? And all of those coaches, the Logans and the Tim McKinnons and the Sam Pierces and fucking they'll all be going, Jesus Christ, fucking number 43. Put some size on that cunt. At least he knows how to diet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, you may not win nothing. You may not get the first spot. You may not, but there's a whole bunch of people talking about you in a positive way. And if you get up fat, whether you're big enough or not, one, people won't talk, or if they do, it ain't good. No one's going to bag you for not being big enough. Welcome to bodybuilding. That's the sport. Come back next year, slightly bigger than last year. And then come back again, slightly bigger, because it's a time sport. We can't hurry up how fast we grow muscle. But if you can get in shape, everyone will be keen to see you next year.
And that's the
everyone
thing,
knows you can't really control how big you are. Like,
you can't.
Like, let's assume we're all want this bad and we're all working hard as fuck. To be our best. You can't really control how big you get because we're all fucking training our fucking ass off and putting away effort, pushing the gear. That's right. We're all doing everything we can every day to gain the size. So no one's gonna look at you and be like, "Oh, you fucking like." He's too small with a pussy. No one thinks that, but it's like if you're not conditioned, then it's like you 100% had control of getting in condition because anyone can get in condition. So it's like he bitched it a bit because he didn't get in shape.
Yeah,
but it's like no one blames you for not being.
No, you're a bitch. You're not big enough. Everyone, because it gets put again. If you come in shape, it gets put in a positive light. But hey, bro, a little bit more size, and you're going to be competitive. And people don't talk down and say, "Oh, you can't compete because you're too small." No, it's like, hey man, keep a little bit more size, and because people will treat you positively if you do the hard work, which is getting in shape.
Yeah, well, that's the best example. It's just like you said before. Like Nathan's the best example before. Like he's fucking 21 years old. He's only been bodybuilding since last year. He only hired me last year, and then we pushed. And he put on a little bit of size. He was still undersized for his frame because he's so fucking tall and his limbs are long. But everyone respected him up there because he was fucking peeled. And everyone just said to him, man, like, you're great. I can't wait to see this next year. I can't wait to see this next year. He made so many connections and friends because everyone was impressed with the way he looked.
And that's exactly right. That's the best thing. I think that's how any person going into their first show, conditioning over everything, leave a mark, be remembered, make connections, get people talking about you because like you're saying, a size thing will come in time. You just show everybody that you can put the work in, that you ain't going to bitch it. And then each year you progress, and then the judges are going to see that because they're going to see that, okay, you hit the mark each year with conditioning. Yep, your size is coming. And it comes back down to that thing we talked about leading up to the show of like, it's kind of Mike's year. We kind of all knew he was possibly he was going to get it because he'd done it time and time again, showed the progression. And it's like, yeah, so if you can do that, someone like Nathan, who is young and has the potential, showed the conditioning, will be remembered, continues to progress. It could take 7-8 years, just like you, Jay, just like Luke, just like Louis, just like Sam. You're all up there. You're all people that are like, it's just when is it going to be your time? Because you're continuously making the progress and you're showing you can get up there on stage in shape.
That's right. And I've said it to my guys as well. Like I'm not telling my guys I'm going to fucking turn pro. I'm going to turn pro. I'm saying to them as well, like, I was like, it's a matter of when for me. I was like, it's going to happen. But I was like, I need a lot more fucking size before I'm going to be competitive in that, like in contention for a card. I was like, I'm also 6'1". I'm going to have to be close to that 110 plus kilo mark on stage to be, competitive in that. So I was like, it's just timing. You just have to fucking wait. And another people think they're going to turn pro on classic though. That's the problem because a lot of the younger guys just want to do classic now. Like not many people are interested in bodybuilding. So that's where I'm finding a lot of the people that are coming to me saying this are usually the guys that we're, aiming for classic, and they're just assuming, they're going to be able to turn pro because they're going to win because they don't have to get as big. It's like, man, even on the amateur level, like it's obviously there's a lot bigger differences in the pro level, but in the amateur level, there's not that much of a difference between the guy that turns pro in classic and the guy that turns pro in opens. It's just going to be difference in lines, because usually you find it's just so the difference in structure, because usually you find, like, as an amateur you just have to get fucking big no matter what. So it's usually just someone who's big as fuck with good structure or classic structure who then fits a weight cap. And then they like Cal is a perfect example. He's obviously very, very classic, but you can't tell me he couldn't have done opens and done very, very fucking well as an amateur.
Exactly.
Now as a pro, no, he couldn't stand on that amateur stage and probably do as well on that pro stage and opens and do as well as he did. But he definitely could have done that fucking show when he turned pro and stood in the opens, and he probably would have been in the overall. So there's not going to be a whole lot of difference.
What we're talking about before, conditioning as well. Let's be real, like you said before, it's like, oh, you're one of the biggest names in amateur body. No one fucking spoke about me until last year when I finally got billed for once. Until then, I'd done 5 seconds and no one ever fucking heard of me.
Yeah.
Besides people in World Gym Ashmore and a handful of friends you make backstage, like you guys and everything. I was floating in and out of shows, getting nothing. You get peeled, all of a sudden, you're the buzz name. Yeah, exactly. We got to get these people. It's like the conditioning kills, and I think the last few seasons have proven that it's catching wind. Because, and especially this last season, there's people in the second call out with fucking striated glutes, man. Like, you're like, oh shit, all right. Not just your top 2 or 3 guys anymore.
Yeah, no one gets on stage without fucking glutes now. Like, that was such a thing back in the day. It was like whoever has striated glutes wins. And now it's like, yeah, we all picked up on that. So now we all get fucking peeled. And now we all don't care. Like, we'll do what we need to get that to come in. And now you look at, like you just said, the whole first call out, they all got separated hamstrings, striated glutes. You look at the second fucking call out, most of them
have got lines.
Maybe a couple have lines in their fucking. Man, I was in, like I just said before, I was in second call out as well. I had fucking my glutes and hands as peeled I've ever fucking been. You're not getting guys not stupid fucking peeled in every call out in every class. The only time you really sort of start to see it slip is in the later call outs in something like novice classic or even open classic a little bit. And that's from people that don't really have that sort of love for it, thought they were going to win and just jumped in and didn't actually push that hard to get conditioned.
You get found out when I don't think people realize how much it hurts. And you get found out where all of a sudden you're 7 or 8 weeks out and you're starting to get your real low days where you just can't be fucked breathing. And they're just like, oh, shit, all right. And then you've got a coach going, all right, we're on our way. We're nearly there. We've got to keep going. They're like, oh, what? Yeah, so let's drop your calories and let's up your cardio. Like, oh, but I'm about to die, man. And that's, and you find out because everybody there who's got a coach most likely had their calories dropped and their output put up to a point that should have had everybody peeled on stage. But some people don't turn up peeled because they can't stop. They can't stop. They just, I've got to eat something. And they just don't know how to make themselves not do it. And that they convinced that maybe the guys at the top did some more drugs or whatever. So no, they just hurt. They fucking hurt bad. Grown men crying in prep at 1 or 2 different points is kind of common.
No, it's not only it happens. Chris Bumstead talks every single prep about how he cries. Literally, like almost every Olympia when he's doing his speech, he'll be like, I remember crying in the bathroom and because I was super stressed. Bro, Nick Walker talked about his prep for the Arnolds. He broke down like on his prep for the Arnolds. He said that was the first time prepping for that Arnold that he fully broke down and was like, I don't think I can do this. That was the only time where it was like, man, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And that was he's a fucking animal.
When we say like, man, I remember 3 weeks out, there was a day I was stuck here with the kids. I ate a chocolate Easter egg. because it was Easter. I got the kids
Yeah.
Easter eggs, and I pinched ones off the kids. I just unwrapped it and just ate it. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, yeah, fuck. All right, well, let's go for a walk. I'll go for a walk. I went for a walk around the block, and just about halfway around, the body just started shutting down. I made it home, and when I got inside, I was almost hyperventilating because breathing was so hard that I was panicking and breathing more. Yeah. And I was laying on the stairs, and I was on the stairs like a fucking xylophone just for 20, 30 minutes. And the kids at first were like laughing at me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I got to get up and make you some dinner. And I just didn't move for another 10 minutes. And then they're like, are you all right? You all right, Dad? I'm like, I don't think I'm all right. I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And like I was there for, like I said, 20, 30 minutes on the stairs, just breathing, just sort of, I didn't know what to fucking do. Like, do I need to fucking ring someone for help to cook dinner for the kids? I can't get up. I physically can't lift my head. It's stuck in a fucking step. Like, and like in the end, I just, you pull yourself out of it. You go, kids, I need your help.
Yeah.
Grab a hand each. You're going to help Dad up. So they sat me up. They pulled my hands and sat me up on the steps. They took my shoes off. Fucking 8, 9-year-old kids, man, took my shoes and socks off because I couldn't fucking undress myself. Like, and these cunts want to fucking talk about they love the sport. You haven't hurt yet. You think you're going to come in and win? You got to get past me first.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to die on my stairs in front of my kids. Like, I'm sorry, but
that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, man. It's like you can't come in and beat Jaiden. You can't come in and beat Luke. You can't come in and beat me because we've all got stories really similar.
Yeah.
we would when we say we're hurting,
we were hurting.
Not a made up tale. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter how well you start off. Like someone like Luke was peeled from the start because he just held his like good condition basically the whole off season. Yeah, he was really, really good. He didn't need to go low for very long at all. But there comes a point where it still fucking kills. Like it doesn't matter how good you are when you start off. All it's doing is delaying like when you start dying. And it's when body fat really does get low. It doesn't matter about the food. I was doing low food I started dieting at about 10 weeks out. 8 weeks out, we dropped it hard. And because I remember posing with you, Sammy, at about 7 weeks out, and I was like, fuck, I'm fucking fat cunt. and then and then the next week, Justin, just pulled me hard. And then I was fine. It was a fucking breeze until about 3 weeks out.
Once you're in about the fours.
It starts getting real hard. And there was a few days there, man. When I hit that 3 week out mark, I didn't get a refeed. So I did 50 grams of carbs, trace fats, for a couple weeks without a refeed. I did that every single day, non-stop, training and non-training. I didn't have over 50 grams of carbs. It was literally just, I had a handful of oats in the morning, and then it was fucking meat, veg, meat, veg, meat, veg, meat, veg, meat, veg. And that was it. And, there was those days, it was right before I got a refeed, about 1 week out. There was a few days before that where I was like coming to the end of that period, and I was ready to explode. Like I was so stressed because I was just standing in the kitchen and I was like leaning over the bench, and I was so angry just at how fucked I was. Like I was just so angry at how fatigued I was. So I was just like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I can't fucking move. And it was just doing my head in. And no matter how I was like, obviously you're so fucking hungry, but even with how hungry I was like, I still don't want to get up to cook because I was like, I'm still more fatigued.
No, you can't.
I'm like, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like, fuck, cunt, I got to cook again. And I'm like, I didn't have my meal ready that day or something. And I was like just about had a fucking breakdown on just the fact that I had to cook, which is a good thing, I get to eat, but I'm like having a fucking breakdown because I got to try and stand up while I cook. No,
you can't stand up. Like getting yourself off the couch is, you're literally screaming at yourself like fucking Ronnie Coleman. Like, come on, man, you can do this. Like, you can fucking come on. You got to get up. You got to fucking get up. You're
I used to have to yell at myself to get out the car.
You're screaming at yourself because you need to get up.
Yeah.
And then when you get up, you scream like you're doing
like, yes, I did
it. Yeah, I do really psych myself up to get out of the car. Getting out of the car was the hard one for me. It's like when I pull up somewhere, I'm like, I'd sit there on my phone, just fucking around, and I'm like, come on. Like get out. Like I just like angrily, because I'm like, stop procrastinating, get out of the fucking car, because you're wasting so much of your day procrastinating, doing tasks just because like it's so hard to do any tasks. And and it's fucking brutal. But I mean, a lot of guys, like, again, amateur guys entering this for the first time, my clients as well, you know, they don't know that it's going to be like that. They're not.
You've got to feel it for yourself.
Yeah.
We can't tell you. We can share all the stories in the world and they kind of sound made up.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be that bad. So, well, once you crack under 5% body fat, just start writing a journal.
Literally.
And then we'll recap this a couple of weeks after the show, and you need to feel it for yourself, and it separates the people who want to keep doing this from the people who never do this again.
Literally, like, we should make a book, get like 20 different athletes from females, males, different categories, and have like a prep story of like that 5 weeks out where you're dead, it's something fucked up that's happened, and give it to a first competitor and go, are you ready to experience one of these 50 stories? Do you think you can deal with this? If you can, just sign me up and let's do this. If not, like, it's not for you.
That one, when the kids help me up off the couch and I'm like, I'll go have a shower. Because I'm like, I know that these death moments don't last for days and days and days. It's usually like an hour or so. Yeah, and if you can get through that hour or so, you get a little burst where, okay, you're still not good, but at least you're not at this point where your head's literally falling off because you can't, you know. So I'm like, look, guys, I'll have a shower, we'll do that. So they help me up and they'll come up the stairs here, full bore, screaming, this is what fucking winning takes. This is what it fucking takes. Come on.
Yes.
And I pull up one step. So I'd use my arms and I go one step. Fucking come on. This is what it fucking takes. This is what it takes. And I know my kids are sitting there going,
the fuck is going on?
Just watching it. I don't know about this, can't I?
So good.
Good. It just got
to do what you got to do.
I documented one of them on Instagram, which got really, really good feedback. I think obviously everybody in our boat just sat back and said, cheers, bro. I think more people need to see that because I had one of them days yesterday as well, and I had one a week ago, and it was real. But then all the people that just are just little fans of us, you know, they just sort of went like, yeah, shit. That was confronting. I didn't realize you got that fucked.
What'd you share, Sammy? I don't know if I saw that.
It was just on my stories. I tried to go for a walk at Paradise Point. And I was at home. I was not good. And I'm like, you got to go for your walk. So I drove to Paradise Point, and I was just sitting there in the car, like, just, I couldn't. And I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, you're almost crying again because you're like, I've got to get this in. If I was somebody else, if I was my partner, I'd be like, don't, just rest. Rest is as valuable as what the walk's going to be at this point, you know. Yeah. But you're one of them. You're a Logan. You're a Jaiden. You're a Sam. You're a fucking. I don't know. I've only got one gear. Like, it's do as much as fucking humanly possible while eating as little as humanly possible. And somehow then complain at myself when I can't function. So I just sort of put up a story and I just spoke to the camera, and you could hear my words were so slow trying to talk, like it was
slurred.
You know, and you could hear like my voice was quivering a bit. Like you hear I was on the verge of tears as well at the same time. And it was a lot for people. Like a lot, people went like, oh fuck. All right, you
Well, it's good.
bodybuilders are a bit nuts, aren't you?
People need to see it. People need to see it though. So it's good that like we can take opportunities for people to be honest and real like that and relate.
If
And
you're sitting
people
there
who don't
going,
get it.
however many people liked your photo. Oh man, that must be so cool. I'm going to try that once. I'm like,
No.
don't do it for the photo. Don't like you need to understand what this takes, man.
Yeah.
Like it's not. This is not a like. I should give a bodybuilding show a go. That looks like fun. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
Literally.
everybody, and like you say, I know animals like Jaiden, good physiques, ridiculous conditioning, fucking everything. They're in a second call out. Now, if you give 100% to something and you don't love this sport, that'll break your heart. You'll never come back.
Yeah.
You've got to do this bodybuilding thing because you legitimately think it's fucking cool.
Mm.
And it's not cool to be a bodybuilder. It's cool to be one of those weirdos that needs to test themselves beyond what other people are capable of doing. Yeah. Like an ultra marathon runner, someone that runs 200 kilometers for fucking days on end. You know what I mean? That they contain something different.
Mm.
They're like, I'm going to see if I can kill myself. So let's go. I'm going to enter this race. That
see if I can people, survive.
And I'm going to see if I can do it or not.
Yeah.
But they've got they're goggins, like bodybuilders are just a bunch of goggins, man. Like the guys at the top anyway, they're obsessed with bodybuilding and what they look like and everything. I get it, but how far can I go? Because I haven't found it yet. So does that mean I'll find it next comp?
Mm-hmm.
Am I ever going to find my limit, or will my just ability to be stubborn and not give up always override, regardless how fucked I feel?
Yeah,
that's right. I think there's an element that I respect somewhat about people who go, "Oh, I just want to," because I've actually got a client doing this currently who's like, "I want to challenge myself and do a bodybuilding show," and he's a natural guy, in his 30s, and he's like, "Yeah, I just want to challenge myself. I want to do this for the challenge, see what I can look like." And I'm like, that's fucking great. And he will do his absolute best. But it's the people that come to me that are young, and I'm not worried about him in the slightest, but it's the people that come to me that are young that go, yeah, I want to be pro. I'm like, all right, you're going to be the first.
Settle down. You're
going to be the first one to give up. And it's always them. It's I don't 100%. I have a doubt in my mind that this natural guy that I'm prepping, this older guy, but he's not older, he's in his 30s, but I have no doubt in my mind that he will be diligent, he'll push himself, he'll hurt, and no, he's probably not, I'm not going to kill him to the level that, he's not going to go to the level that you went to, Sammy, probably that I went to either. Again, being natural, I wouldn't want to do that to him anyway, but he's probably not going to go to that level because, no, it doesn't quite mean that to him, but I respect the fact that he's going to do everything he can to and give it a fucking crack. But it's the guys who think that they can go to that level and then jump on, and fucking as soon as it gets hard is when they really start to question, like, oh, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I'm meant for this. And it's like, that's fine that you're thinking that, because we all do that too. You and me love this shit so much. And I guarantee you every single prep we go, man, I don't know if I can be a bodybuilder. Literally, it's fucking
hundreds of times a day.
It's insane how much your mind will actually try and convince you just to survive.
Not do it.
Just because it wants to survive, your mind will convince you that you no longer care about this sport. You no longer care about any of your goals. They don't mean anything to you anymore. You just want to give up, basically. It's like, just stop. You don't even care about these goals, and you'll justify it. You can justify in your head why you should just stop, or why you should give up, or not even do bodybuilding anymore because, oh no, it's actually really genetic and I'm probably never going to be that good. And
I've got my kids, I'm getting old, man. What am I going to even do with it?
Yeah, so very easy to convince yourself. It happens to me every fucking time. My mind will fucking scream at me like, oh, you're not really that good. You're probably not going to ever make it. Like, why are you actually doing this? Just wanting me to fucking give up, basically, just to fucking rest. But I know that, and I'm sitting there like, I don't want to fucking do this. Like, I don't want to be a bodybuilder at all. But I know that I do, because I'm like, I know that after the show's done, I really do. And I know that this is all I fucking care about. So you just got to keep going on the fact that you are pretty sure that you still do. and, and then, but people don't realize that, and that's when they go, oh no, I just want to quit. Or I don't really like.
And they do.
And then they
get straight on Uber Eats.
And they
family boxes there.
Game
in
over.
15 minutes.
Game over.
Yeah, it's always those ones that it's the ones that and because it's the same with lifestyle clients. It's the ones that are the most motivated that fall off the quickest. It's the ones that come to you and go, man, yeah, I can't wait, man. This is going to be so fucking good. We're going to get fucking this. We're going to get this. We're going to get massive. Like,
I'm going to make you proud. You get that one? I'm going to make you proud. I'm like, fuck, another one. You'll be gone.
Yeah, when they're down. Yeah. It's
same shit.
Quick too. The turnover is fucking unbelievable. It's a daily change where it's like, yeah, man, I can't wait. I'm like, cool, man. Let's start. Here's the plans. Oh, I don't want to do this. It's like the second they get the plan, they're like, oh nah.
Yeah, I just had one. He's come back from a long break. He's a lot to handle emotionally and mentally and that. So I got rid of him a long time ago and just sort of there's a lot to it, but I couldn't keep training him. And he wanted to come back. He reached out and I said, look, yeah, all right, we'll have another go. He come back, was super excited, and I just calm down. It's all right. No, I'm going to make you proud. You're not going to see anything like it. You're not going to see it. I said, it's all cool. I said, who gives a fuck what I think, man? I go, yeah, like, you know what makes me proud is when I just see that guy over there in the gym, and I've been here for 6 years, and he's still here.
Yeah.
That makes me proud. You know what I mean? Does he look any different? No, doesn't look any worse.
He's here. He's working.
Looked after himself for 6 years, paid his memberships, paid his dues. He's fucking here. So that shit makes me proud.
Yeah.
I go, so just turn up, bro. Just turn up. Not even 2 weeks, he's gone. He's fucking, yeah, no, this is up, that's gone. Up. I breathed in air wrong. I've got to take a week off. Fucking
ridiculous.
It's
bullshit.
You know.
I can't do it, man. I've got a job. Can't do it. I've got a job.
Yeah, I've got arms. It's just any excuse, anything, and I just saw it coming. Yeah. And he's it's one example. I'm picking on him, but how many times, Jaiden? How many times have we had the same conversations? It's a weekly occurrence.
Yeah, it is. It's the same reason I don't train very overweight people anymore. I don't deal with it anymore because there's a reason. Motivation. There's a reason they got there, and it's because they can't stay consistent. And it's not a lack of knowledge. It's really not, because in your mind, eat less, right? It's that simple. And if someone really, really cared who was very overweight about pulling down, you would just eat very little, because you may be dumb as dog shit, but if I eat less, I'll lose weight. So you could be doing it all wrong. But if you were just eating less calories, you would just lose weight, right?
Yeah.
You could come
just eat less than yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. So you could come to me and go, oh, this is I was very overweight. Now I've dropped a lot, but I can't pass this. And I'll be like, cool. And I'd start with that person. Yeah. But someone who is just overweight to begin with, and they're like, no, it never works, because every single time it's just, man, yeah, I can't wait. Let's do this. Let's get it done. We're going to have a good transformation, blah, blah, blah. Starts up. Cool. Don't hear a fucking peep from them. And then 2 weeks later, hey, mate, can we cancel? Yeah, no worries, mate. See you later.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Well, all the people I know that were overweight who look unbelievable now. So even the kid's mum, a long time before I met her, she was really overweight. My last girl from a couple of years ago, Madison, she was a really big girl, lost all the weight. TJ, who did bikini the season Cam won his pro card, she used to be a really big girl. She's unbelievable fucking transformation. None of them did it by coming to us.
Yeah.
They literally did exactly what you said. They got sick of their own bullshit. They were sick of being sobbing, crying in a tub of ice cream, and they just ate less. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what to eat or what not to eat. They just thought of, fuck it, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to eat less than yesterday. And next thing you know, these girls are looking unbelievable.
Yeah, getting it done.
And then they go to coaches and go, hey, how do I build up my bum? How do I build up this? But they literally just did it completely on their own. I think the big people, you're right. I think the big people, when they come to us, they're hoping that the missing ingredient for why I've tried nothing and absolutely nothing works, maybe it's because I haven't paid someone. So here, I'll give you my money, make it happen. It's like, no,
don't work like that.
You're not going to like what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Because you can't put those fucking people on a meal plan. Like, you have to be so fucking patient with someone like that, where it's like, cool, we just need to build the habit to like, oh, what's on your plate today? Cool, let's have some of it, some quality protein, and then some of it, some vegetables and stuff, and let's try and downsize our plate. And like, you have to do that for weeks and months before you even months before you even talk about a fucking meal plan. They can't follow a meal plan. You think they're going to go from not looking at anything they eat ever and just doing whatever the fuck whenever they want to being like, cool, and just prepping all this shit all at once? They think they want to do that, and then as soon as it's in front of them, they do not at all. And they're not going to go from exercising to now exercising 5 days a fucking week in the gym.
All the ones I've had have had amazing transformations that just don't last long. Anywhere from 2 to 6 or 7 weeks. It just sort of depends. And then something comes up that they've got to stop coaching. But the amount they change in that, because they've got a lot of body fat, and next thing you know, okay, I've got you a heap of steak, fish, chicken, eggs, but lots of it, and you're allowed to put sauces on your food, and we're allowed to do all this because regardless. And they're like, fuck this, I'm eating so much. They eat lots, they get good results, everything's good, but like you say, the whole meal plan thing and that, it only lasts 2 to 6 weeks, and then they're out. And then they've got something comes up, they have a bad week, and they get really scared to talk to you. You're like, hey, I'm not here to judge. Look what we've done for the last 6 weeks. So what? You went to your sister's birthday. It's all good. Don't worry about it. We erased it. Who cares? Meal plan starts tomorrow again. It's all good. And then that just starts a ball rolling, and then you don't hear from them. They go AWOL, and then you get a text message in 2 weeks saying, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop.
Yes.
So they did it for X amount of time. They got a taste of that, whatever it is they used to do, and then they just couldn't stop the ball rolling back the other way.
Yeah, it's always that. You always don't hear from them because they're just ashamed of themselves, but
they're upset with themselves.
Yeah, you don't hear from
them.
They
need to work with us by all means, but simultaneously, I had an anorexic girl, and I said, so let's work side by side with a therapist, because I can't talk to you about anorexia. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't want to sound like, I don't want to give shit advice. I don't want to. If you want to work with me, work with somebody on the side. And she did. So she had a therapist to work with her and why she's afraid of food and why she thinks she's fat and everything. And then I told her what to eat and do it. And we worked together for about a year, and it worked fucking fantastic. And I think the same thing needs to be applied with overweight as well. It's like, hey, come to us, but I think you should also invest some good money into how you got here.
Yeah, I think you probably have a bit more lifestyle, well, a lot more lifestyle experience than I do, just in obviously because you've been just training people for so much longer as well. But I won't take it because I'm like, I physically don't have the skills to teach you psychologically why you should do these things or to help you out, help you break these habits. But I actually don't have the skills to change your mentality of this, because I've never struggled with that. I've never gone through it. I've been like, how do I get results? Do this. Okay, done. Like, I don't have any emotional attachment to things. So I can't, unfortunately, help you. And that's why I won't take overweight people anymore, or I wouldn't take someone who was anorexic, because I'm like, look, I'm not going to I can scientifically tell you what would be the best thing for you to do right now, but it's so much more than that, because psychology plays a massive role.
That's the smallest ingredient for what you've got going on.
So I know how to build you a good physique, but we're not trying to build a good physique right now. We're just trying to get you healthy, which, if you have, emotional struggles, I can get people healthy if they're willing to do what I say. But if you're not even willing to do what I say, then there's obviously other issues there that I can't teach you how to I can't teach you how to emotionally want to do that and listen to me and have the mental resilience to go through that if you haven't done it before. I can't teach you that. Like, there's people who can, and if you speak to nutritionists and clinical nutritionists, they can probably help you more than what I could with a diet and even an exercise program. You just starting, like, they'll give you some very, very basic guidance to what you could do for an exercise program, but and then, like, there's no point me writing you an exercise program because you don't need weights right now. I don't need to send you to the gym to lift some fucking weights. Like, you need to just get moving, and you need to fucking, because you've been sitting down for however long. Like, you need to get moving. You need to do all this other type of stuff, which I'm like, that's not what I'm here to do for people. But I think that no matter who they are, no matter who they are, if they do these programs, they're going to turn into and look like a bodybuilder. It's like, man, you need to be in the right spot before you do these programs, and you just need to focus on getting there first.
Hey boys, we're just gonna wrap it up. I just gotta go make dinner.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I was just about to say that time. But thank you so much for jumping on. I really appreciate it. We missed Luke. Too busy training to jump on with the boys. He knew the time.
I know, but we're back.
That's right. We're back. Get it on. Hopefully Luke will not dog us again for the next one. always rocking up slack, man. But it's Luke, so we'll forgive him.
It's him. Very good. Good to see your faces
again,
again,
good
boys.
to see you guys. Thank you so much. Keen for the next one. Have a good night. Later.
Man.